watching this video you suck a lot at Dark Souls 2 online gaming, but no worries, we only at the beginning. This is one of the most difficult and merciless games out there right now. I'm Joel Gonzalez and I'm gonna be your teacher. Let's get started.
Okay, so here we are. First of all, let's take a look at your stats. Okay, so we go to the stats here. And as you can see, I got a lot of points in the adaptability stat, okay? The adaptability stat is pretty important because the more points you have there, the more invincible you're gonna be while rolling, alright? You're gonna see that the online gameplay of Dark Souls 2 is pretty important to roll. So it's very important to be very invincible while rolling. So be sure you got 30 or 35 points in the adaptability status, okay? It's also important to have a lot of points in the strength and dexterity stats, because that way your character is going to deal a lot of damage with each of his slashes, alright? So be sure you got a lot of points there also. As you can see, I got 65 points in strength and another 50 points in dexterity, alright? The other stats are pretty personal, okay? I would suggest you get a lot of stats on stamina. It's pretty important to be able to make 4 or 5 moves without being exhausted, alright? So be sure your stamina is pretty high. And well, the rest is up to you. I mean, remember, adaptability, strength and dexterity, and also stamina is highly recommended, alright? Now let's take a look at the equipment. Okay, first of all, the armor. I would suggest you wear one of the most heavy armors of the game, or the heaviest armors of the game, okay? You can rather wear the Glass Knight armor. As you can see, I'm wearing the helm and the breastplate of the Glass Knight armor, or you can wear Havel's armor, alright? As you can see, I'm wearing the gauntlets and the greaves of Havel's armor, alright? Okay, those two armors are the armors with the highest defense rate and the highest poison. It's very difficult to break your guard when you're wearing one of these armors, so I highly recommend to wear this armor or a combination of both, alright? As for the swords, okay, I like to wear on my left hand a fast short sword, which is the Sun Sword. I honestly believe that the Sun Sword is the best of the short swords, alright? It is fast, it deals quite a high amount of damage, and you can make 5-6 moves without being exhausted, alright? So it's a pretty good sword. I would suggest you wear on your left hand, while on your right hand you should wear the Great Sword. The Great Sword is obviously slower, but it deals a lot of damage and has a very long range. It's a very useful weapon, alright? Be sure, by the way, you have maxed out both your armor, okay? As you can see, it's +5 everything, and your sword, +10 and +10, alright? As for the rings, since you're wearing very heavy armors and heavy swords, your character is going to carry a lot of weight. So to avoid being slow, be sure you wear the third dragon ring and the real soldier ring, alright? That way your character will be fast despite all the weight he's carrying, alright? As for the other two rings, well, I would suggest the currency ring, so your stamina refills really high, and the fire ring, which will improve the damage you deal with each of your moves, okay? I also wear the bell and the bell to, I'll show you later, okay, why I'm wearing the bell. Also wear throwing knives, alright? They are pretty useful to make long distance range attacks, okay? So, well, now let's go and engage in combat so I can show you my strategy. I'm gonna change glasses, alright? Sorry for that. The strategy we are gonna follow is pretty simple. You gotta roll to dodge and avoid all your opponent's attacks and wait for the right moment to attack, alright? This may sound simple, but it isn't, okay? You gotta practice a lot this technique, but in a few weeks, if you practice all day long for 2 hours, you will finally master it, alright? So be sure you watch carefully my combats now and see how I roll all the time and wait for the right moment to attack my opponent, okay? Well, first of all, when the gates open, I'm gonna use the regenerative spell. This spell refills my health automatically, alright? So it's pretty useful when I get hit because my health will refill automatically. So I will wait until the gate is open, alright, to put that spell on my character. Here we go, alright? So I use first that spell, and I'm gonna use also the dark magic spell on my right sword, okay? Because that way I'm gonna make a lot of damage. Okay, this guy has said hello, let's be polite. First of all, target your enemy, okay? And like I told you before, be ready to roll. Roll, roll, and roll. As you can see, and wait for your attack. As you can see, we have made in a lot of damage, alright? We have dodged his attack, and let's continue with this strategy, okay? Roll, roll, and wait your opponent to be vulnerable. Okay? I did roll late that time. So that's pretty good technique, alright? Roll and wait for the right moment, like that one, okay? I will talk later on how to analyze, so that's it. As you can see, we roll all the time, we have waited the right moment to attack, and we have nearly been hit only a few times, okay? So that's really a technique. It may sound simple right now, but it isn't. You need to practice that a lot, but I mean, that's the basis. I really had hoped that someone had told me that when I started playing online Dark Souls 2, because at the beginning I really sucked. I mean, now I win like 70 or 80% of my duels, but at the beginning I won like 20-30%, and that's really bad, okay? Okay, so let's engage in more combats, so you can see the technique. Okay, another important thing is to analyze your opponent's equipment, alright? Most of your opponents will wield a long sword, alright? That means he will engage in melee combat. But sometimes your opponent will wield a belt or a wand, okay? So that means he's gonna put spells or hexes on you. And that way he's gonna try to put some distance between you and him. So if you see a wand or if you see a bell on your opponent's hands, be sure you stick to his ass, okay? Because he's gonna try to put distance between you and him to deal you high damage, okay? Usually, like I said before, the opponents, go with a sword, with a shield, with short swords, with hammers, okay? Usually they don't use bell or wands at all. But if you see one or if you see a bell, be sure you stick to his ass, okay? So it's important at the beginning of each combat that you observe your opponent's equipment, okay? Like I said before, we wait until the gate is open to put our spells on our character, alright? Because these spells have a time limit. That's it. So, now, I do use my spell, the first one, to refill my health automatically, and now I put Dark Magic on my sword, okay? So let's go. Remember to target your enemy, be polite, say hello, and let's engage in combat. The same technique as before. You roll, and you wait your opponent to be vulnerable, alright? Let's go. This guy seems intelligent. He waits until he makes his attack, alright? Now, wait your opponent to be vulnerable, alright? That's what you gotta do. Okay, I tried there to make a backstab, but I obviously failed, okay? Backstabs are pretty slow if you had a very heavy sword, but if you use a light sword, you won't have any difficulties to make that one, okay? So that's it. As you can see, we only get hit like the combat before a few times, and that's thanks to our technique, okay? You roll, you dodge his attacks, and you wait the right moment to attack, okay? That's pretty the main technique, alright? So, I guess that's all. I mean, I'm gonna engage in one combat more so you can see, but that's all. I mean, it's not like you're gonna succeed in your first 10 combats. You're gonna need to put hours into it, alright? But I'm pretty sure you'll master after 2, 3, 4 weeks of gameplay, okay? I'm gonna engage in more combats. However, if you've got any comments or questions, you can write it on my wall. I'll try to answer them, okay?